Hey guys, D1sco here, and today I'm reacting to the D1 upcoming live updates roadmap. This is basically the roadmap for 2024, I guess. I haven't really looked at it. Well, I just saw it. It came out earlier today, but obviously I didn't see it till way later, like usual. But you get the point. Upcoming live updates roadmap. We're looking ahead at some of the live updates the team will be working on for the next 6 months. As always, timelines might change, but we'll keep you updated as we progress. So it goes from January to June. So January to March, they have a quality of life and gameplay. Um, so they're adding some sort of FOV slider in a solution for free genning. Either the FOV slider is a solution though, which I kind of doubt. But okay, so I'm very curious about the FOV slider, like, cause I'm assuming that's basically just for people who have a hard time seeing things. That will probably help out them, and just I'm assuming the FOV slider is just so everybody can see the game better. And then the solution for free gen could be really anything. Um, because there's not much in the game that you can do against free genning. There really isn't a whole lot. Because they updated Deja Vu at one point to be sort of a um time, like, to be just a like the test solution. It was like the test solutions, and that helps. But like even then, there's not a whole lot you can do against free genning. So I'm very curious about what those will be. Looks like they're having some killer updates as well. So Sadako, Billy, and Blight's add-ons. I don't play any of these killers. Um, I would say out of the three, I'm most intrigued by Billy. Last time they touched Billy was they changed how the overheat mechanic of his chainsaw worked because it didn't really fit the game anymore. Um, but it, seemingly he's getting like a major update. We'll get to why I say because March and April says tweaks and not update. So that'll be interesting. So I'm very curious as to what they'll do with Billy. Sadako I'm also intrigued by because they full on reworked her. Because Sadako released in 2022 and they didn't touch her until July of 2023, because alongside Nicolas Cage was the rework of Sadako, and she came out so much better. I believe Odstarva puts her in. I believe Odstarva says that that she could easily be like an S tier killer as long as you are using her correctly right now. So they could tone her down. They might change, but you still don't see Sadakos too much. Um, there's definitely I'm not sure what they'll do. I do, but we'll see. I'm very intrigued by that. Uh, I've never played Blight, and Orange has played Blight a few times, but he doesn't. But he's not doesn't play Blight very often, and doesn't isn't basically, from my understanding, Blade has some of supposedly. I say supposedly because I don't know this for sure. Apparently, Blade has some of the best add-ons right now. Like his Blade has some of the strongest add-ons right now, and I guess people have been complaining for years. It seems like people have been complaining for years that about it, and instead of touching Blight's add-ons, they just keep nerfing like not as good one, like other characters' add-ons that aren't as strong. I don't know how true any of that is. I've never played Blight, nor do I know. Um, Nor do I see Blight super often. But usually when I see him, people are okay. It's like it's nobody's business. But if that is true, I'm very happy he's getting his add-ons changed then, because it seems like a lot of people have been complaining about that. So that's definitely good. And then it says, oh, perk updates. So they're updating Save the Best for Last, which I kind of understand. They don't touch it super often, and it's always kind of been a pretty powerful one. Hopefully they don't mess. Hopefully they don't mess with the killers too much, because I would hate for Sadako to be basically um to turn because I would hate for Sadako to turn into, like, say, a skull merchant or something, where she's just so bad that everybody complains and they have to rework it. Because flipping skull merchant has had to, like, essentially they've worked on her twice since her release. They gave her an update a week later, and I felt like she came out a lot better, but she was still just the free jetting queen. But she did come out better, and now they full on reworked her, so she's more chase oriented now, and can't free gen anymore, uh, which is nice. The free genning queen is no longer, thank God. But but we'll see what they do with Sadako, because this will be the second time since her release Sadako has been looked at, which is interesting that Skull Merchant and Sadako have both had two reworks. Although Skull Merchant, you could argue, was more dire because they reworked her twice in the same year of her release, whereas Sadako, they didn't touch her till, well, the year after, and then the year after that update. But it, like, and this of course is coming a few months after her last rework, so that'll be intriguing. Um, Grim Embrace is another one doing it. So I feel like Grim Embrace, in my opinion, I feel like they might be buffing that perk. I see Save the Best for Last a lot more than I've ever seen Grim Embrace. So I feel like Grim Embrace is probably getting some type of buff, because they like to have more appealing perks. Yeah, like, all perks are technically, like, usable and good, even if they get insanely nerfed. But, like, they insanely nerf those perks to change the meta and make perks that are that are rarely used to look better. So very excited for that. Quick Gambit, which is a 100% a buff. Pretty much nobody ever uses Quick Gambit, and it is one of, if not the hardest perk in the entire game to get any progress out of. Artsdarva has tried. He made a video once where he was trying it, and he almost did it once, but he never got value out of the perk. For those of you that don't know, Quick Gambit is a Vittorio perk. Um, it's the one where if you're in chase with the killer, if you run by someone who's working on a generator, the survivor working on the generator gets a speed increase. Usually, survivors will run away, or the killer will go for them. So, Quick Gambit is by far his most useless perk. So, the fact that they're buffing it makes me happy, and I'm very excited to see what they do. Shadowborn, that is a Wraith perk, and I believe that's the FOV one, but I could be wrong. I think Shadowborn might be the FOV one, but I could be wrong. I'm very excited to see what that update is like. And then Monitor and Abuse, that'll be interesting to see as well. They picked, honestly, pretty good perks. They picked a couple that are very rarely used, and they picked a few ones that you see quite a bit. So I'm very excited to see those changes. March and April, they're updating the status Mangled, which will be interesting to see. Very curious, because they updated Hemorrhage at one point, and Hemorrhage before they updated it, and after, it's so much better after you actually can get value out of it now. So I'm very excited to see what they do with Mangled. Killer tweaks: Hag, Pig, Huntress, Demogorgon, Clown, and Doctor. I'm assuming all of them are getting little changes. Clown, some people want Clown to get reworked again. Hopefully this little hopefully the tweaks that they'll do will make. It's hard to say what they'll do. I'm not sure what they'll do with Demogorgon or Doctor, but Clown, I could see them tweaking him up a bit. Huntress, I feel like they're going to tweak down, just because Huntress is, or at least was at one point, the most played killer in the entire game. So, and then Pig, I could see either way. I'm not entirely sure about Pig or Hag. I feel like they might tweak down a bit, because Hag is pretty powerful. And then the perk update for March and April will be Slappy Butcher. That one's interesting because it's worked the same way for years. So I'm very interested in what they're going to do to Sloppy. I'm very interested. April to June, they're adding another quality of life and gameplay. This time, more Blood Web improvements. The Blood Web has gotten like updated 2 or 3 times now. The first time they made everything cheaper, which was very nice, and then they made oh yeah, then they made it so you don't have to like sit there and like hold on whatever you want. You now like tap and it'll like claim, and then they added it where you can like you could click on a perk you really want, like to level up or get or whatever, and it'll claim every note to get there, as long as you have enough blood points. And then they also added after you prestige one them, you can click on like the center, and it'll just auto buy stuff for you. So I'm very interested to see what the next blood web improvements will be. It's always nice when the blood web is a very important part of the game. So that getting improved is definitely a good thing. It works a lot better now, and I'm very excited for the new blood web improvements because I can't wait to see what they do. Um, so they're updating 2 perks. Ultimate Weapon, which I believe Ultimate Weapon's it's a Singularity perk, I believe. Singularity or Xenomorph. I never remember what it does. I'm very interested to see what they do with that one though. And then Decisive Strike. Decisive Strike used to be at one point in time was like the one of the best perks in the game. It's one of the most used. They nerfed it so hard when they did when they did the 40 perk rework back in 2022. They changed how it works so much that it is rarely used. You see it every once in a while, usually with more skilled players, but that's about it. Decisive Strike got nerfed so hard that nobody wants to warp water with it. So I have a feeling that that will be a buff, that will be another one that gets buffed like Quick Gambit, but we'll see. And then Killer updates the Twins. I believe that is the Twins rework because they did mention that we would be getting a Twins rework this year. Um, I remember seeing a thing about Starva talking about, and I remember him thinking it was so late. And while I agree with him, I'm just happy Twins is getting a rework. She desperately needs one. She's been in the game since 2020. I understand. I feel like we all need to like understand that they're very busy. Game developers are super busy, and the fact that they're constantly updating the game this much, they gotta be super busy with stuff because they also think very far out into the future with changes. So I'm sure Twins, and I saw something saying that Twins may have supposedly been for this year, but they delayed it for some reason. I don't know how true that is. It could be entirely made up, but at least they are getting around to it. Kind of upsetting that that's all that they show. I'm hoping though that they will update Myers and Freddy. Those two I feel like are characters besides Twin that desperately need one. Although in my opinion Twins and Freddy desperately need one a little bit more than Myers. Although I'm very interested in what a Myers rework would be. I know because they did say Freddy and Michael would be getting something, but it still hasn't happened. So it might be later 2024. Obviously, I can't see because it doesn't say on the roadmap, but we'll see. So I guess they added a link to a VOD. I did click on it earlier just to see what it was. It just takes you to like a Twitch live stream. I don't know. It just takes you to a Twitch stream. I don't know if it's an old stream or not. But yeah. Um, so if you want to watch it, I guess you can. So yeah. So as I'm wrapping up this video now, because there's nothing else to talk about. Honestly, they got some interesting stuff coming up. April and June is a month. Is has some changes that are very intriguing to me personally. I always love blood web improvements. It makes spending your blood points and getting things better and better. And the fact that there's going to be yet another one, I'm very excited to see what they do. As for the perk updates, I can't comment too much on Ultimate Weapon because I never remember what it does, and I haven't seen much about it. So, but Decisive Strike, I'm very excited for. I'm excited for both of them, but Decisive Strike, because I have a little bit more knowledge on that perk, I'm super excited for that one. And then the Twins rework finally coming out makes me so happy as well. January and March will be another intriguing one because we're getting that FOV slider, which I definitely want to see what that is. And then I very much want to see their solution to free jetting. That's always interesting to see. The perk updates, they got some very intriguing ones. I'm interested in what they'll do to save the best for last, but but as interested as I am in that, the perk I'm the most interested in is Quick Gambit. Quick Gambit, in my opinion, is it's the only survivor perk that's listed. Every other perk they're touching from January to March is a killer perk, but Click Gambit, in my opinion, is the worst perk that they have there. It's not even usable. It's so bad right now. It's basically not usable. So I'm very excited, and I feel like understandably so, that I'm so excited for that specific perk to see what they do with it. Monitoring Abuse will be interesting to see as well. Shadowborn will definitely be interesting to see. Grim Embrace will also be interesting to see. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, save the best for last. But Quick Gambit, ever since Victoria's launch last year around this time, has desperately needed to get completely reworked or overhauled or something. And they have yet to actually, and they hadn't mentioned anything about it until now. And I think it's good that they are getting around to changing it because, again, it kind of needed one. And then Sadako getting updated is nice. Is intriguing. I'm a little nervous to see what they do with her because they might nerf her, they might buff her. I don't really know, but will definitely. But I'm hoping whatever they do makes her better in the long run. Billy, I feel like desperately could. I feel like Billy. I feel like they're gonna buff him quite a bit. I could be wrong, but there's kind of a reason why you don't see too many Billies. He's very hard, right? Because he's super hard to play. He moves very linear with his chainsaw, and if you've watched any of our past, and I've kind of been stating a lot lately that about like how linear some things feel, and Billy is very linear, which is partly why so few people play him. It's very easy to hit something unintended, um, or the survivor could move because it's so linear and you don't really have a chance to turn or do anything. Pretty much once you go, you're going wherever you launch towards. So yeah, I'm very excited for Billy's change. Billy, the four characters that this game started with, Trapper and Billy, I always felt like could use some improving. Trapper got some improving this year, and I think he came out a lot better. Nurse got some Nurse when they added her unique her unique lobby musics and gave her unique chase musics and Terry's music and all that. They kept her how they didn't necessarily nerf or buff her, but they changed a lot about her. They changed a lot about how her perks were, about how her add-ons work, and how she herself works a bit. Um, so they've been, and then Rave hasn't been touched in who knows how long. I honestly don't know the last time they touched him, but the last time they touched him was they got rid of the when you flashlight stun and you like get him with the flipping I think it was called like a flash burn or something like that, or light burn or something. Basically, if Rafe was, I believe, cloaked and you stunned him, you could basically disable him for more seconds than a normal flashlight stun and or flashlight blind. But luckily they got rid of that. So very excited to see what they do with Billy. And then Blade's add-ons again. I've heard they're super overpowered. I don't, or a lot of them are. I don't know how much that is true. I don't see Blade very often. They do 4K a lot, but they were also just good players, better than me and my teammates, of course. And um, I don't see too much gameplay of Blight. So I can't really comment on him, but I'm very excited for his change. Genocor is March and April. Mangled will be very exciting to see. Hemorrhage came out a lot better when they touched it, so I'm hoping Mangled will come out better as well. Sloppy Butcher, very interested to see what they do with that perk. I could see them nerfing it, but I could also see them buffing it. Sloppy Butcher is a solid perk. You don't see it too much, but it is solid, and you see it quite a bit. They might tone it down or something. I'm not sure yet though. We'll see. And then the killer tweaks that they're doing for Hag, Pig, Huntress, Demogorgon, Clown, and Doctor. Unfortunately, they're not like major changes because like I'm assuming if it says killer updates, which it does for January, March, and April and June, are like the more major updates, whereas the tweaks are probably just like little things that will improve the character, but it's not a lot of changes. But regardless, I'm very excited to see what they tweak about them, and I can't wait to see that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like to, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, read the bell, do all the algorithmic garbage. It helps us out a lot and it means a lot to us. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Boop.